Number 2, Baker captured their 22nd straight Heart Conference win this past weekend in the NAIA Game of the Week against number 14 Benedictine. Freshman wide receiver Nick Snider had 9 receptions for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns. Here he is to talk about this past weekend's game. So Nick, you are a freshman and you've already had such a big impact on this team. Tell us, what is that like to already have such an impact in your early career?
It means a lot because most of the time freshmen don't play. Coming in, I knew that I would have a chance to play and a chance to make an impact. So the fact that I'm able to do that, what the coaches wanted me to do and be able to do, means a lot. So
this past weekend, you guys beat Benedictine. How big of a win was this for the team?
Well, coming from my school, I know beating our rivals was like a really big game. So I imagine it was a really big game for Baker and everybody else. But yeah, and to win it like that, like such a close game, like right to the very end, was really good too. And it was at their place. Right,
yeah, so it was a very exciting game. And tell us, what is it like to play with a quarterback like Logan Mertell, who is a very good quarterback and one of the top in the nation?
He's a really good leader and he's really smart. So if you don't know if you don't know what you're supposed to do or you need like tips during the game or whatever, like he's always got you. I really like playing with him because he's really smart and he's like down to earth and he's got a chip on his shoulder just like I do. So like I can relate to him and he's a good leader. So.
Right. And this weekend we're playing Peru State here inside Liston. What is it like to play in front of this home crowd?
It's different than playing at back in high school, because in high school it's mostly like student section, but here it's like there's so many more, like it's like more of like a community thing, like the community wants to come and watch it rather than just like the school or people at the school want to come watch it. So it's kind of cool to see all the people that have gone here that still come to watch the games or people that live around to come watch the games.
Right. Well, thank you, Nick, and we look forward to watching you against Peru State.
Thank you.
Baker will take on Peru State, who's 4-1 this Saturday inside Liston Stadium at 1 o'clock. Here's Baker Sports Information Director Tyler Price to talk about the game with Coach Grossner.
The number 2 ranked Wildcats return home this Saturday for family weekend to take on number 23 Peru State. But Coach, let's talk about your last victory. You guys survived the NAIA Game of the Week, taking down Benedictine for your 22nd straight victory. And how big was that victory for your team?
Yeah, going to Benedictine, anytime you can walk out of there with a win, it's huge for our program. Our university, that's such a big rivalry, and we'll always be there. And proud of our guys. We got a big lead. They came back, which is normal. That's happened multiple times in the history since I've been here. And then we were able to score in the end and win the game.
Now you've got a Peru State team that you know is going to present a difficult challenge. You know they just defeated Mid-American Nazarene last week, and now they're coming in here 4-1. What have you seen from Peru State so far?
Real good football team. You know, the scores have indicated that they've improved. But I look back on the history of our ball game, and they've been 4-1, 2 out of 3 or 3 out of the last 4 coming into the game, and we've come away with the victory. I think they've got a little bit different animal this year. I think they're a little more experienced. They have 5 returning starters up front on the offensive line, which is always going to make your offense better. They got a veteran quarterback that runs the option well, and I think their skilled kids in the backfield are athletic. And so they've changed that profile, and then on the D-line is where I see a lot of improvement. I see some athletic guys up front that can get after your pass rush, or present a good pass rush against your pass game, and they can run. 4 returning linebackers, starters, and then in the secondary they've got some guys with experience. Obviously they're winning. They beat some good teams. They beat Moval, they beat Mid-America. They had a hiccup on the road against Evangel, and so they're going to come in here 4-1, ranked in the top 25, and ready to give us a game. And I think the chess match that'll go on defensively with their offense, and what are we going to do from a tempo standpoint when we get the ball. I think that's crucial in this type of game. Are they holding on to the football and driving the football? And are we patient on offense once we get out there and do our thing instead of trying to score 21 points on one play? So those things are going to be crucial. And I like our defense against the option. If you saw us earlier against William Penn, we held them to under 100 yards rushing, which is a great accomplishment against an option football team. And so we've got to come in with that mindset again, that we're going to stop the run and how we stop it and make them do things they're not comfortable with.
Yeah, offensively, you've been averaging 51.2 points per game and done a great job with your tempo. That's continued to be a big part of the offense. What are some of those challenges that Peru could bring on their defensive side to maybe slow down your tempo or slow down your scoring attack?
Anytime you're athletic up front, there's a worry because they can get after you with less numbers from a pass rush standpoint and drop more people. But that also, if they're not going to bring as much, we can run the football. So there's always that process that goes on in a game plan. What are they going to do? If they do that, we're going to do this. But more or less, I think in these types of games, I've faced the New Mexico Militaries, the William Penns, the Peru States that all run the option. And what you need to do from an offensive standpoint is stay in your game plan. Realize the opportunities are going to present themselves, and when you're out there, execute and score. If you score points against option football teams, at some point, if you can get a couple scores up, you dictate to them what they need to do.
Another big part of the game always is special teams. How have their special teams been this season? Is that a strength for them as well?
I think they've got some young kickers. Their punting game's been good. Their return game's good. They've got some skill back there that can present some opportunities for them. I like the way our special teams are moving. We're playing young guys. We've got a freshman punter. We've got a freshman snapper. We've got freshman return guys that are stepping up and doing some good things for us. And we got our veterans that came through at Benedictine, Clarence Clark in the kicking game, Abram Garcia in the kicking game. So I think it's interesting as we go through the year to see our improvement in those areas because our guys are gaining experience. And then as you go through the year, your opponents have injuries and little things that go on that maybe you can take advantage of in the special team game if you can see it on film. But it's that time of year where there's little subtle changes. We're nicked up, they're nicked up, they're bringing back a couple guys, we're bringing back a couple guys. So how good are we, with those guys? Are they ready to play? And I'm sure they've got that on their mind as well. But that's natural. Football is such a sport of injuries, health, confidence, momentum, and we're at a point where hopefully we're doing this. I think we are. I like our football team, and they'll be ready to go Saturday.
Thank you, Coach. The weather looks like a beautiful 75-degree sunny day on Saturday for family weekend, so I know everyone will be excited to be back at Liston Stadium.
Should be a great atmosphere. Also, there are free hot dogs and hamburgers in the tent for the tailgaters, so get there. First 1,000, I believe.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, man.